Hey everyone, it's Dominic from the Primetime Treasure eBay store. This time I'm doing a video with you on negotiation. And negotiation is such an important topic for resellers because you need to be able to obtain a great deal for yourself when dealing with sellers and when dealing with buyers, so that you're able to make a nice profit on your items for your business. And sometimes you need to be willing to walk away from the deal. And that's what this particular video is about. I'm going to show you how to make a good deal by willing to walk away from the deal. And that might seem a little strange the way that sounds, but I'm going to take you through it with an example of something that happened in my eBay store over the past week. Now, this is just a very basic example of this. We could extrapolate it to items that cost much more money with many more dollars on the line, but the basic concepts are explained by this example. So let me show you what I'm talking about. This is a beer tap that I had on sale in my store, listed at $17.99. And as you could see here, I have an offer that came in for it for $10. It's a Samuel Adams cherry wheat beer tap. It's really pretty cool looking. It has a few little dings on it, so it's not in perfect condition, but it's pretty good. And based on my research on the completed sales for this item, and what my current competition was for it regarding other sellers who were also selling the item at the same time as myself, $17.99 was the most competitive price point that I could put it at. There were some people selling it for lower than me, but their item was more damaged or they had much worse feedback than I did. All things being equal, I do try to make sure that my item does cost less, but it doesn't make sense to list it for less than another seller who has it in worse condition or who has much worse feedback from you, because the buyer probably isn't going to want that item. So don't price yourself the lowest with those particular considerations in mind. But all things being equal, you do want to try to have your item very competitive in the marketplace with regards to how you price it. So again, $17.99 was a very fair price for this item. And one of the things you also have to keep in mind when you're negotiating with buyers is how much is it going to cost you to ship it and how much time is it going to take you to ship it. Now, this is pretty easy to pack up. Involves pretty much bubble wrapping it, so it's not very difficult, bubble wrapping and taping. But shipping it out could have been expensive if I were to ship it in a box, because with that added weight, that would make this item have to go priority mail, which if it was going out to the West Coast would cost around $10 to ship it. And so that obviously wouldn't make a lot of sense for me to send out an item that would have cost $10 to ship if I'm only going to take $10 for it. So you have to use some logic there and some math to determine whether or not it makes sense to take a certain offer. And so shipping is one of the factors you have to keep in mind. Now, I already knew that I would be able to send this item out via first class mail, because if you look at the video that I'm going to put at the end of this video, so just look in the lower corner, you're going to see a video presentation that I do on how to ship out items that are long and heavier, but they're still at that 16 ounce or less point, but they're towards the end of that range. And make sure you get it out first class mail instead of having it to ship it priority, because once it goes over 16 ounces, if you're shipping it from home, it's going to be it's going to have to go priority mail. And the importance of that is that first class shipping for this item is going to cost me around $3 to $4. So if I want to make a $10 profit on this item, I have to make sure that I sell it for around $13.99 once you take into consideration eBay seller fees. And so that means I'm going to have to price this at about $13.99. Now, $13.99 for a for a negotiated offer on this would be the midway point. So it'll be halfway. And so what I did was I counteroffered. So I counteroffered, as you can see here, $13.99. And what you could also see here is that I added a message. Added a message to the buyer, because I think that can help you sell the item as long as you're polite and respectful and add a couple key points in there. Whatever you do, don't be disrespectful. Even if you decline the item, it just doesn't look good for you, doesn't look good for your business if you're sending out rude, disrespectful messages to buyers. Even if they attach a note to you, that might be nasty, and most people won't do that, but if they do, don't respond in kind. Just either ignore something like that, or again, send a polite message like you see below. And you can see here, start off very courteous. Hello, thanks for your offer, very engaging. I can meet you halfway at $13.99 with free shipping. The reason why I say that, I emphasize halfway, is that I have found that most people are willing to meet you halfway. No one loses face that way. You come down half, they come up the same amount. So people are generally satisfied with that. If you use free shipping, please emphasize that you do that, because sometimes buyers will not notice that when they looked at your listing. And so reminding them of that can help them feel comfortable with sealing the deal with you. I've had people message me afterwards and say, oh, I didn't realize that. That's great that there's free shipping. And then they purchase it. And then just mention, hey, if this works, then it's yours. And the reason for saying that is that now you have personalized things, and you've made them feel all I have to do is just click this button and accept it, and it's mine. I have it. And so you want to make them feel like they could just have that item very easily, just using a little psychology and just a little extra thank you at the end, what an exclamation point to just convey a little enthusiasm, could make people feel more comfortable with dealing with you and completing a transaction. Now, as I said, most times, at least my experience on eBay, is that people will accept the midpoint offer. They won't always, and I'm going to show you what happened in just a moment. But the other thing I just want to mention before I move on is that don't always throw out a midpoint offer, because if the person really lowballs you, the midpoint offer might not make any sense for you financially. So the midpoint isn't always where you're going to go, and so I don't always counter at the midpoint. It just has to be something that makes sense, has to be logical. So here you could see that the buyer counter offered me at $12, and as I mentioned, it doesn't really make sense for me to do, so I'm still not gonna accept that. Now, if you felt personally that you were comfortable with that, then by all means go ahead and accept the offer. What I'm trying to let you know, though, is that if you don't feel comfortable with it, if you're kind of on the fence, then go ahead and continue to negotiate. There's nothing wrong with that. A lot of people, get nervous. They think that the person's going to walk away if they don't accept the first offer that comes in. But that's where knowing your information about what the research is on completed sales. Is this a popular item? Is it very likely that another buyer is going to come along and want this item? Do I have it at the lowest possible price? Because if I do, where else is the buyer going to go? Or if there are other items that are being sold for less than mine, and the person has terrible feedback, known for sending defective items, known for shipping and packing the items poorly, or is the next item that costs less than me, is it damaged in some way? So if you know that, then the buyer doesn't really have anywhere else to go. So you have to have that information in your head so that you have leverage. Whoever has the most leverage in the situation is going to come out ahead. So another way to give yourself some leverage psychologically is that if somebody counteroffers you a second time, that's telling you that they really want that item. So, because they haven't just sent you an offer and just walked away from it when they heard back from you, particularly if they respond fast. This person responded fast. That tells you they're really interested in getting the item. So what I did you have, as I said, 3 options here. You could accept the offer, make a counter offer, or decline the offer. Now, I decline the offer because, in my head, I felt like this person would likely just come back at $13.99. I felt they probably really wanted it, and I needed to let them know that I was serious about the $13.99. Now, you also could counteroffer at $13.99, and sometimes I'll do that as well. In other words, your counteroffer does not have to be lower than your first counteroffer. Your second counteroffer could be the same exact price. So I've done that before too. Counteroffer, just say, hey, listen, I really meant it when I said $13.99 is the lowest I could go. Again, be polite with it, but that's where we're going to have to be with it. So it just depends on the situation, which one of those you're going to choose. I decline the offer, and as you can see, within it does say the times on here. So pretty soon thereafter, this person sent me another offer for $13.99, which is where I was satisfied with being, and so I accepted the offer, and as you can see here, there it is, it's sold, $13.99. Now I'm in a much better situation business wise. I'll clear about $10 profit for this item. I bought 55 of these beer taps. One of them I sold for approximately $50. So if I'm able to clear a minimum of $10 per beer tap, that's $550 profit at a minimum. And again, many of them are going to sell much more than that, and I got them at a really good rate. So you got to know, kind of in your head again, what is it that you want to get for these items, and where you're going to be comfortable with. So, by doing a little bit of negotiation, didn't take long. As you can see here, that's $4 extra in your pocket, and that doesn't sound like a lot, but when you add that up over the course of a year, it really adds up. And that could, depending on how much you sell, it'd be hundreds of thousands of dollars. And even for individual items, if they're expensive items, this negotiation process can mean the difference of hundreds of dollars or thousands of dollars. So it's an important strategy. As I just mentioned here, you gotta know when to walk away sometimes, and that doesn't mean that you can't make the deal if you're walking away. Walking away could actually help you seal the deal and make the deal. You just have to have the confidence and the knowledge behind you to know when the proper time is to do that. So I hope this example showed you when would be a good time to do that, or a good instance to do that, and it helps you with your reselling and negotiation strategies going forwards. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, please make sure you hit that like button right down below. Make sure you subscribe to this channel. Let other people know about it. Share the video. Drop a comment down below about whether or not you found this helpful, and if you want to see more videos on negotiation, because I have lots of stories to share and lots of good examples I could put up for you. With that, I hope you have a great weekend and all the success in the world in your reselling business. Thank you very much, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.